The key advantage of the Flintlastic SA system is summed up right in the name. SA stands for self-adhering, which means no torches, no hot asphalt, no fumes, and no mess. Application is much cleaner, faster, and safer, and equipment needs are minimal. These advantages are even more amazing considering the long system life you can expect.
We started using CertainTeed SA products years ago, mainly because, well, a few reasons. Because the nuisance smell of hot asphalt really became a problem, and the self-stick, obviously, there's no smell at all. Although general principles are the same as any other roofing that you do. Technique is not difficult, but it needs you need to really pay attention to the specification that CertainTeed gives you, and the adjustment really isn't that much. Like on this job, not disrupting their daily business was a main concern, so I naturally went with this product.
Flintlastic SA cap sheets are available in multiple colors, including Cool Star, an Energy Star rated sheet. The products that comprise the Flintlastic SA system include base, mid-ply, and cap sheets. It also includes primers and adhesives. Two base sheets are offered: Flintlastic SA Nail Base, which is designed for applications where mechanical attachment is required, and Flintlastic SA Ply Base, which is self-adhering. There are also two cap sheets. The Flintlastic SA Cap FR offers fire-rated protection. Flint Prime Asphalt Primer is available from CertainTeed, as well as Flint Prime SA, a water-based primer specially formulated to enhance adhesion. Flint Bond SBS adhesive rounds out the product line for a complete self-adhering system. Here are a few important points to remember when storing and handling rolls of Flintlastic SA membrane. Store rolls upright on pallets in dry, ventilated indoor areas. Do not store rolls on their sides. Protect rolls from exposure to the heat, sun, cold, and moisture. Don't double stack on pallets. Use care in handling the rolls. When on the roof, stagger rolls to avoid concentrating excessive weight in one area. Common tools associated with the installation of self-adhering systems are a long-handled roller with two naps, 1/8 inch for applying primer to smooth surfaces, and 1/4 inch for applying primer to more porous surfaces. A heavy weighted roller for pressing the membrane in place. A paintbrush for applying primer to edge metal and pipe flashings. A suitable trowel for applying adhesive to flashing details. A caulk gun for applying beads of Flint Bond adhesive. A handheld hot air welding gun. A roofer's knife with hooked blade. A seam probing tool to check for voids. Before we get into the details of applying SA, there are some very important facts you must be aware of. First and foremost, always remember to put safety first and follow all OSHA safety guidelines. Don't apply a membrane that has been improperly stored, exposed to moisture, or has lost its tack. If the material isn't bonding, stop the application. Don't mix Flintlastic SA membranes with other types of roof membranes. Flintlastic SA membranes are specifically designed to be applied together. The permanent top film on mid-ply, ply base, and nail base cannot receive torching, hot asphalt, or other non-self-adhesive application methods. And Cap FR ply base, and mid-ply cannot be applied to any other surfaces. Substrates must be free of dust, dirt, oil, debris, and moisture. Primer, if used, must be applied at the specific rate and allowed to thoroughly dry. Work with manageable membrane lengths, cutting rolls into 1/3 or 1/2 roll lengths, and allowing the material to relax prior to installation. Don't start the job if ice, snow, moisture, or dew is present. In addition, the ambient temperature must be 50 degrees Fahrenheit or above. A handheld hot air welding gun can be used to warm side lap areas and improve adhesion when the weather is cooler. Use caution with the weighted roller at end lap areas. Don't squeeze out too much adhesive. Flintlastic SA can be used on a number of deck types, but regardless of the material, the roof deck should provide positive drainage. Otherwise, positive drainage must be achieved by adding a tapered insulation system. Roof decks must be constructed according to the deck manufacturer's specifications, and they must be designed to support and provide a satisfactory base for attachment of the roof system. The deck must be rigid enough to support loads of temporary and permanent equipment without deflection. For application, the deck must be dry, smooth, clean, and free of sharp objects and depressions. All openings in the deck and projections through the deck must be completed before application of the roof system. Installation of conduits or piping above the deck but under the roof membrane is strictly prohibited. Drainage is another key consideration when evaluating the roof deck. Outlets must be positioned and installed to ensure that water is drained promptly and completely from the roof. To apply SA ply base or SA mid-ply directly over polyisocyanurate installation, ensure the surface of the iso is clean, dry, and free of dust. A 3-ply roofing system will require the application of a mid-ply layer. You can use either Flintlastic SA mid-ply or Flintlastic ply base. Before installing the mid-ply, sweep the underlying base sheet or primed surface to remove any materials that can interfere with adhesion. Start application of the mid-ply at the low point of the roof, using an appropriate roll width to offset side laps 18 inches from the side laps of the base sheet. Install the mid-ply flush to the roof edge when applying over a base sheet. Design your layout so no side laps are against the flow of water. It's easier to apply the rolls if you cut them into manageable lengths. After you position each piece, fold the membrane back halfway lengthwise to remove the split release film, and press the membrane securely into place. Repeat this step with the other half of the membrane. As you apply each new piece, overlap side laps 3 inches and end laps 6 inches. Stagger end laps a minimum of 36 inches and cut them at a 45-degree angle, about 3 inches from the corner, at opposing diagonal corners to minimize T-seams. Apply a small amount of flint bond at the edge of the angled cut to avoid a capillary. A handheld hot air gun will help you maximize adhesion to the joint area prior to rolling the membrane. In fact, in parts of the country prone to cold temperatures and freeze-thaw cycles, it may be more effective to use the hot air gun to form joints. CertainTeed recommends application of a bead of flint bond at all mid-ply or ply base side laps and end laps to avoid capillaries. Use a heavy weighted roller over the entire surface of the membrane to firmly secure it. Work outward to eliminate voids. Don't leave Flintlastic SA mid-ply or ply base exposed to the weather. Cover with a Flintlastic SA cap the same day. Before installing Flintlastic SA cap, sweep the surface of the installed base or mid-ply layer. After preparing the surface, start at the low point of the roof with a roll width of the correct size to offset side laps from the underlying membrane a minimum of 18 inches. As always, work with manageable lengths for proper handling. Position the cap sheet and the selvage edge release strip at the high side of the roof. Install in weather-lapped fashion with no laps against the flow of water. Once positioned, lift and fold back the lower half of the membrane lengthwise. Remove the split release film and press firmly into place. Then repeat this process with the half of the membrane on the high side of the roof. Follow the same split release and layout procedures you used for the preceding layers, but overlap the side laps 4 inches and end laps 6 inches. Use a heavy weighted roller over the entire surface of the membrane to firmly secure it into place, working outward from the center of the sheet to eliminate voids. As subsequent membrane lengths are installed, remove the selvage edge release strips just prior to overlapping to keep the adhesive areas protected and clean. Cut end laps of opposing diagonal corners at 45-degree angles, about 4 inches from the corner to minimize T-seams. Follow the same procedures described for mid-ply and ply base when doing T-seams. The T-seam at the end lap should be completely set in flint bond along the entire lap width. Apply a uniform 1/8 to 1/4 inch troweling of flint bond on the entire width of each 6-inch end lap to the underlying membrane prior to overlapping. Install the overlapping sheet. It's important to note that you should always apply flint bond on the entire width of any overlap when attaching Flintlastic SA cap over another mineral surface, such as the cap sheet overlap. At all vertical and other flashing points, apply trowel-grade flint bond wherever there is an overlap onto mineral surfacing. Once the membrane has had a chance to bond, check all laps and joints for full adhesion. If the membrane can be lifted up at any point, it's not properly adhered, and a handheld hot air welding tool and seam roller or application of flint bond can be used to seal such small unbonded areas. Secure the drain directly to the roof deck. Apply insulation and the base sheet. Next, install the lead pan over the base sheet. Prime the lead with Flint Prime Asphalt Primer. Install the cap sheet over the primed lead flashing. Cut out the drain opening. Apply a troweling of flint bond over the granulated surface, which will receive the drain clamp. Install the drain clamp and the ring bolts. Finally, install the strainer basket. Install the cap membrane around the pipe. Now set the lead pipe boot in a bed of flint bond adhesive. Prime the boot flange with Flint Prime Asphalt Primer. Cut a target patch large enough to extend 4 inches beyond the edges of the flange. Round the corners of the target patch. Trowel flint bond over all granulated areas. Now install the target patch. Apply a bead of flint bond around the base of the boot. Turn the lead at least 1 inch into the pipe. Clean the base of the metal support stand. Prime the pitch pan flange with Flint Prime Asphalt Primer. Install the pitch pan in a bed of flint bond adhesive. Apply a bead of flint bond around the base of the pitch pan. Cut the flashing target sheet so that the sheet extends 4 inches beyond the edges of the pitch pan flange. Round the corners of the target patch. Now install the target sheet by rolling it into place. Cover the target seam with a small patch. Fill the bottom of the pitch pan with non-shrinking grout. Finish off the detail by filling the pan with pourable sealer. Cut the flashing to the appropriate length, extending up the vertical surface a minimum of 8 inches and down onto the field membrane a minimum of 6 inches. Apply a bed of flint bond adhesive over all granulated surfaces. Be sure to terminate the vertical flashing properly. Apply small football-shaped patches on exterior corners with flint bond adhesive. Thank you for your interest in CertainTeed Flintlastic SA low-slope roofing products. For more information, talk to your local CertainTeed representative or visit our website at CertainTeed.com.